Development's been going on for around about 4 or 5 months, single person team. And I thought I'd show you what's been happening of late. Now I'm on the day 1 map and I have lighting turned off. Now if I was to go down to the crate, good. If I go down to here and just press G, this is the start area. This is where day 1 obviously begins. Most other days will begin with you waking up in bed up at the lighthouse, but the first one has you literally coming off the boat after the introduction. And apart from having the torch now working, documents are now working the way I wanted them to as well. What this means is that you can get letters and messages and things, put them in your inventory, read them. You can also get maps and things like that and clues, and you can read books. All of this is kind of essential because of this being like weird fiction. You need to be able to find information and act upon it. Now another thing I've done is I've built these signs, and the signs are obviously there as well because during initial play testing it was pretty hard for people who didn't know the layout of everything to work out where things were. So now the signs are here to kind of help with that, and they're configurable in game as well. So if I want to turn off the signs or change the messages, you know, in real time, I can. But their job, certainly for day 1, is to start moving the player around the island so that they can so that you can find where things are. Obviously, initially you come in here into the what do you call it? The generator room, and on throwing the valve and pulling the start lever for the entire engine, once you've got the fuel, then the lights will start to come on. They start to come on slowly, which is why, you know, the lights will come on for this staircase here first once you leave the building. So come up here, and this is all within the remit of day 1. So if you're just powering through the simple mission that you've been given by Malin, okay, you'll be up here, it'll be dark, it won't be raining. I did consider rain, but there's not going to be any rain up here. And again, more signs. I've moved some wildlife up here, so as well as the birds, you can see now we have plenty of wildlife. The lights in the lighthouse are not active until the boiler and generator goes on, and then when they are, you can come through at the kitchen for your dinner. Okay, and the good thing about eating dinner is that if you've got a full meal in your stomach, then the next day it will increase your ability to get around the island quicker and do things quicker, because you know you can't. It's good for you going to bed with a nice full tummy. Also, if you've injured yourself or hurt yourself in any way, having a good and hearty meal before bed always helps. Now, as you'll know if you've been watching a lot of my development diaries, okay, there is additional stuff that you can explore around the island. I have locked some of it off, and so even though if I go up to, for example, here it is down here. If I go down here, for example, okay, you can see there's a signpost pointing to the stones, but since I think the March revision of this, there isn't actually a direct way across here without killing yourself and falling down one of these chasms. That's so that we can open up the stones later in the game, so at the minute they're viewed, and that means I can have more kind of cool things going on with them. Okay, if you haven't seen the updates in a while as well, the entire village that's down here, now this used to be much smaller. This was just kind of a little offshoot just here. The entire village has now been made like this. It has deer and birds and other wildlife. I was thinking of putting cows in, but I don't think there's much point in putting cows in, to be honest. I think deer works better. I considered sheep, but I like the deer. They seem to work okay for me. Now, one of the errors I've been having is this very strange audio glitch. I can be playing it for like 20 seconds, I can be playing it for, you know, 5 minutes, and suddenly I'll get this like meh. Now I've searched all my Q files and all my WAV files, and I'm genuinely thinking it could be an error somewhere. I'm not happy about it. So I'm going to continue searching for that, and obviously once I find it, I'll be able to hopefully smash it into place. Last thing really to show you is if I go to my recent levels and go to my test room. I might leave the test room in when I compile, because I know some people like fishing through kind of files and things, and my test room is basically where I test everything before I properly use it. And here you can see here is Jack and Malin. Now Jack, this is possibly the first time you've seen him in a long time, but Jack is the other junior lighthouse keeper, and I've been building a kind of a dynamic conversation system for these two when they meet. So as you can see, they'll hold conversations with each other. I'm going to probably fish together some lines, and that'll enable me to have like conversations that you as the player can kind of intrude in or listen in on and stuff like that. As you can see, it makes them look like they're having quite a conflict of interest going on here, which I really quite like. That was the whole idea in the first place. I mean, obviously I can make them appear more friendly, but I didn't want to. And finally, for anyone who's been watching and wants to know more about the actual gameplay itself, well, because the game is an adventure, I'll just say that, because the game's an adventure, I've moved away from combat, because combat is pointless in weird fiction, in my consideration. If you get attacked, you're probably going to die. But we've moved to a kind of an adventure. Well, it is an adventure. So what we have here is, for example, let's say you have an item on this barrel, okay, and you know the mystery involved includes you're going to have to pick up this barrel and take it all the way across and put it over here, and that will activate the next part of the game. This is what we're talking about, okay? So, for example, if a book says in a ritual, oh, you need, you know, a skull, some blood, and some bits like that, you've got to find the bits and bring them to the ritual circle and put them down, and then complete the ritual by reading a book, and that will do whatever it is that this thing's going to do. That's if you're stupid enough to use rituals in a weird fiction game. Okay, so 7 minutes 50 seconds. It hasn't exploded yet, so that's always good. And yeah, any questions, please hit me up. If you want to go to thewickie.com, I'd like it if you signed up for our newsletter so that I can send you out information on what's happening as things progress. October is going to be the first public release. Hopefully start to middle of October, and then a release at, well, Halloween, naturally. So do keep an eye out for that. Also, hopefully going to be working with the Lovecraft e-zine, and very much hope that they'll be able to help get the word out about this game to other people. Now, I am aware there are 2 other games with lighthouses, and my daughters were actually asking me the other day, because they're both grown-ups, they were like, are you aware there's 2 other kind of horror games coming out with lighthouses? And I was like, yes, actually I am. And they were like, is that not a bit strange, you know, that there's another couple of lighthouse games out there? Because they didn't want to tell me in case they made me unhappy. And I was like, no, it's perfectly natural, because if you think about it, the film The Lighthouse came out a year or so ago. And so anyone who was going to be like influenced by the idea of a spooky lighthouse, myself included, was going to start developing games. The 2 other games that have been released, I mean, they look fine, you know. One's very much a shooter, I think, and the other one's like a Minecraft crafting game in a lighthouse that's spooky. Fair play to you. Lighthouses plus Cthulhu equals a win every time, in my opinion. You can't have too many. Anyway, good luck to you guys who are developing over there. I hope it goes well for you, and in the meantime, take it easy, and I shall see you in the next stage.